Hello, my name is Swissbianco. In this video I will talk about another bayonet, in this case the Swiss Carbine 31 bayonet, as in front of the camera. As we see, that is a typical example, typical condition of those bayonets made in Switzerland. As I take it out, quick wipe it down as it is a bit greasy, which is a good thing. Those need a bit greased for storage. Now we see the blade is really beautiful made. The all over finish of the bayonet is nice done. We see a bit patina on the handle there, but this bayonet saw a lot of use, and we see there already on the tank stamp, hopefully the camera will grab it, is Elsener Schweiz. So that means this bayonet was made by Elsener, and Schweiz is the canton. That means in USA like Georgia or Florida. And Elsener is of course Victorinox, for those of you that doesn't know that. So this bayonet was made by Victorinox. We see a typical construction with the hole in the guard, with the button that locks it. Of course back then the systems were all similar, but the size is different, so you could not use that bayonet say on a Mauser 98, and the Mauser would not fit on the Swiss Carbine either. We see the blade is really nice dagger, it's hollow grind. We see in the middle that scratches all the long way is from the sheet, and it springs that hold it in there. It's a little bit like the Kydex sheets in our days. That gives you a bit of mark, a rubbing mark. So we have on top sharp, and on the bottom it's sharp as well. And then the point, the grinding line stops on the point there in front of the point, not 100% even on this side. That side is better. And then basically it's a rounded, pretty thick point that it won't break. But the rest is really nicely done. Good size grip for my bigger hands, fits really well. And prior we forget, there is the number of the bayonet. Back then they put the number on the bayonet as well, because the rifle and the bayonet did form a set. So the rifle had the same number of the bayonet. So in case somebody from you has the Carbine 31 with the number 674097, you can contact me on the Swissbianco website if you want to have that bayonet, then we can talk it out. I don't have the rifle, I have no desire for Swiss firearms in USA much anymore. That is a thing of the past, so I would not need the bayonet really bad. As we look at the sheet is metal with the ball put on. That is good, that it won't stick through too bad. The frog is similar to the bayonet of the Sturmgewehr 57 that we had in the time I was by the Swiss military. Basically you have that part here that loops through the loop of the metal sheet to keep it from falling out. In USA we call the part here the frog, the Frosch in Switzerland, and of course it has some green poison stuff of the brass that forms over time in storage on the back side as well. The leather is in a surprisingly good shape. The upper part here was for, on some belts they had like a hook that it goes on here and hooks, and the the belt goes here through that loop too. You see it's a small loop, about an inch, and that was a leather belt as well. They did change in the 90s to synthetic material. Prior that it was all leather, many parts for the Swiss military, and it was Swiss made, which we see here is quite likely the test stamp that the quality is good. And here we see, hardly can read it, E. Clausen or something like that. That part is hard to see, but then Sattler is in the middle. That is leatherworker in Switzerland, and Pieterlen is the city, Pieterlen, and the year. What should be the year? That's hard to say. It's a 29. Usually there is a year stamp on those things, 29. So it could be that they used this one on the carbine 11 as well, and they are interchangeable from the carbine 1911 to the carbine 1931. So that is hard to say. Another problem is also because the sheet and the bayonet came quite likely together. It's hard to say if the leather is original. It can be, because that is private owned. So the man did go to the military, had to go, and got the rifle and a carbine, whatever carbine, and the bayonet and some other equipment. And then at the end of the service he did go home and could keep some items if he wish, like the rifle you can keep for further shooting at home on targets, and the bayonet is an item that most of us did keep. I keep my bayonet as well, and of course the Swiss Army knife, the soldier Swiss Army knife, that we keep anyway. That is our property. So it could be that did come with him home, and it did get bad. It was maybe the threading was bad, the leather was bad, something happened, so he needed a new one. So he did look around, and maybe he saw that for sale. That is an older one, but it fits on it as well as the newer one, so he changed it. This also could have happened at the arsenal. Maybe he did not take the bayonet home with him, and they later completed the bayonets for resale on private people to make a bit of money. So they simply took what they had. So maybe the bayonet, even 3 pieces, maybe the bayonet was 1 piece, the sheath and the frog number 3, and put it together, just that there is a frog on it that perfectly works. Just has a bit a strange number to me. But there is so many possibilities, we never gonna know. All we know is that the condition of the bayonet is pretty well. To give you a bit the size of it, we had longer bayonets in Switzerland as well. As we see, the camera is even too close to see how long that thing here is. That's going to be featured in another video. So you see the really long bayonets were a bit older. This was actually made by SICK. Just to say a bit something, I'm gonna make a different video on that. We see the handle and the locking part gonna work, but the blade of course is a complete different story. So they did come down in length of the bayonet for the 31. That is pretty useful. It's still quite a long dagger in today's standards, but at least not like this little sword here. And what is unique on this one, it has saw teeth, and what we call in Switzerland the Knochensäge for saw the bones. So there were rumors that soldiers from the army we would fight against, that if we captured them, that they get tortured with saw black bayonets, that they cut them on the bones of the leg or something like that. Of course, quite likely 99% complete nonsense, but there was rumors that if you get catched somewhere in a war with a bayonet that has the saw back, that they gonna shoot you. So if you were soldier back then, if you had such a thing, and prior somebody grabs you, better get rid of them. And the main reason for this version was that they used it as a saw on wood, not only simply like that for back and forth, but also they used it on the rifle, because we have a pretty long saw, that they use the rifle on it for saw a bit as well. It depends, of course, what you gonna saw, how big that is. But that just quick to show you the size of that item here. Pretty nice dagger style, made by Victorinox in Switzerland.